What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Friday, January 23rd. Now, to start off the weekend, we have some great news, because now you're able to buy dog on Coinbase through their mobile app and through their web browser in both the US and also Brazil. This was announced by Coinbase, the official account themselves. So I'm just going to briefly review that, but also what I want to share with you in terms of data is when you compare dog price to the amount of Rune transactions, that kind of hint of what's about to happen next to dog, especially when these transactions correlate to dog's price before it heads to the moon. So let's look into that data and also charting analysis and everything that's happening around dog Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or emails. Please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So dog right now is hovering around still above 130 million market cap. Nothing's really changed. And yes, we saw kind of a dip recently to around 127 million, but it actually pumped right back up. Now let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 1.36%. So Bitcoin hasn't really done anything at all. The crypto market's just kind of like waiting for the next new catalyst event or even a black swan event, but nothing's really happening. Now, when we look over to the meme coin sector, really the only thing that I see really pumping is Pepe, up 5% in the past 24 hours. We also have Pengu up 1.5%, Floki up 2%. We have SPX 6900 actually down 1.5%. When we scroll down to dog Bitcoin, almost close to 0.25%. So not really much has happened. Now let's cover some other news. We have Mark Yusko, the CEO of Morgan Creek Capital, repost this image of Nikita, who's the head of product over at X, that featured 1 out of 12 people in the crypto founders category of the starter pack with Casey Rodamore. Now, when we go to that post, I really appreciate that Crypto Godzi said, Grok, what does this mean for Ordinals and Runes? Asking for a friend. Now, what did Grok say below? And I think this is actually really important, that really something I've already explained to you guys and girls before in the last video, but this is something you need to understand. This recognition on X's Crypto Founder Starter Pack A curated list of key figures boosts visibility for Casey Rodamore and his projects. So it could drive more interest, adoption, development into Ordinals and Runes, potentially increasing community growth and market activity on Bitcoin. Exciting times ahead, which I think is very important for everybody to understand, that Casey Rodamore being featured in this starter pack is pretty big. Now let's talk about Coinbase, which is one of the highlights of this video. So just as of this morning, Coinbase on their official account just said that the chain integration has been completed with Solana tokens. So now you can trade any token on Solana within the US and Brazil, except New York, because New York has a lot of crypto regulation that's kind of all over the place. But that's good news for dog, because now you can go onto your mobile app, which is the left-hand side, or you could use your web browser on your laptop on the right-hand side, and you'll see that dog you can actually buy right now. And this is the Solana wrap version of dog. And as you can see, the DEX tab is up top, and you can buy exactly right now as we speak. Now, just as a side note, perhaps the Coinbase internal team will be observing the dog Bitcoin trading volume and activity on their new DEX integration. And that's really all I can say right now, but I just want to point that out just in case you're wondering. We're also seeing a surge of dog perpetuals over at Kraken Pro. It was up 12% from that dip that we saw at 127 million market cap. Yeah, it pumped 12% within that time frame. Dog is not playing around. And yesterday I actually noticed something, even though this video is not loading correctly, that yesterday during this dip that we saw in dog's price, I saw roughly 84% and higher of buying volume over at Gate.io. And this is something that I've always noticed, that whenever dog price dips, we see massive buying pressure from what I think is the market makers, aka the bots over on Gate. Because what they do is they kind of solidify the floor and they want to buy as much as they can so that maybe they could sell when dog price goes up. So whatever you do, don't fall for these tricks where you see the dog price going down, you need to sell. No, in fact, what they're trying to do, what I believe is going on, is that these market makers, the bots, automatically want to fill these orders in at lower price points for dog Bitcoin to buy it at a cheaper price, only to sell when the price goes up. So what I'm seeing here is that Gate market makers are just doing what they do. This is nothing bad, because also they can bring the dog price up if they really want to. So market makers are both good and bad, but nonetheless, I just want to point this out to you. Now, this specific image is a really important thing you need to pause and look at. Okay, so in the blue section, what you're seeing right here, these are the Rune transactions on top of Bitcoin. So Rune transactions on top of Bitcoin, when they first began, when Rune's protocol just came out, they roughly consumed 75% of the network on top of Bitcoin. This led to kind of high transaction fees, anywhere between $10 to even as high as $128. But what you have noticed is that there's another surge happening here with Rune transactions consuming roughly around up to 50%. Now, what have you noticed in this specific image? I'll point it out for you. Well, when we see massive Rune transaction volume, you will see that shortly after that, there was an all-time high market cap of dog price. So what was happening when the dog price was going down? You were starting to see a lot of Rune transactions, not only buying dog, but accumulating dog. And I'm sure that there were some other mints within the Rune's protocol for other tokens. There's a lot of activity there. But nonetheless, I guarantee you that dog was being absolutely consumed and acquired at these prices. And then when the dog price started going up, what happened? We actually started seeing weakening Rune transaction power. So the Rune transactions were actually going lower while we started to see the dog price going higher. Now, what happened right around here? This happened when the Trump token came out, and that capitulated the entire altcoin and meme coin market. And dog price doesn't just go down because of low transaction volume on Runes. No. It's also due to the fact that we saw a huge liquidation of meme coins. Remember, meme coins at this time in total market cap across all chains was $100 billion. And then at this point right over here, the entire meme coin market lost roughly over $50 billion. So we were down to roughly $44 billion compared to where we were in December of 2024 at 100 billion, which is a huge loss for the entire meme coin communities and markets out there. But what have you noticed right here? More Rune transactions were occurring buying the dog price, and then you saw the dog price go up to 560 million market cap. This was during the time that Kraken was going to list dog spot trading, which actually happened right over here. But there was rumors of dog being listed on Kraken right at this line, and you started to see a lot more activity. And then you saw dog listed, and then you saw people taking profits. It could be buy the rumor, sell the news event. But nonetheless, what has happened ever since August of 2025 up until today, January 23rd? You're seeing more transaction volumes within Runes on top of Bitcoin. The reason this is important is because this amount of activity replicates what we're seeing over here and what we're seeing over here. And every single time when you see this amount of volume happening within Rune transactions on top of Bitcoin, you start to see dog price go up. Same thing happened over here. Rune transactions, price go up. Now you're seeing the exact same thing. Rune transactions happening. You're even starting to see the early stages of dog price going up. So this is why I want to pause this video for you to understand, freeze frame it, study the specific image right here, because this is telling you what's about to happen next. That dog is going to have a run up. Okay, now let's go into the charting analysis. So what am I seeing in the charting analysis? Well, I've actually reformatted, because this is what happens in charting analysis. We always have to change and adjust our perspective and our predictions of what we could see. So I actually changed the two previous trend lines that I had before because the first one was obsolete and now the second one has been invalidated. So now what are we forming? We could be forming a bull flag. So this is the flagpole and this is the flag. So dog price is actually trading within this wedge right here, and eventually it's got to break up to the upside or the downside. And I'm hoping we decide what's going to happen before January 26th. I don't exactly know. Now, early this morning, I saw that this red bar in the MACD was actually pink, not dark red. That means there was kind of weakening selling pressure. And even in the RSI, you can see that right now we've been bouncing off of this red line with this purple line. And also this yellow line is bouncing off the green line. So to me, it looks like dog still has some time to decide what it wants to do. Right now, we're just going to be trading sideways, but I'm not really bothered by this at all. I just think that based on what we're seeing, dog needs to be in the buyer's market, because every single time we step out of this yellow trend line from the seller's market, we hop into a buyer's market in bull market domination. So you saw it back over here, you saw it back over here, you saw it back over here, and now you're potentially going to see it over here. That's just how cycles work. Eventually it's going to happen, because as you've seen, we've been oversold for way too long, for over 6 months, for over 90 weeks. So to me, this is about time that dog needs to flip into the bullish sentiment zone and into the buyer's market. That's just my personal opinion, because these sellers markets are just too long. We need to be in the buyer's market, and they happen really quickly, just based on dog's history. Now, I just want to give a shout out to Leonidas and everybody within the dog army. So you know that I've been making like dog videos for almost close to 2 years now. But to account for the exact number, apparently I've done around 441 dog videos to date. Now, I've not been paid to do this. I've only volunteered to make these videos for you guys and girls. But also the reason why I make these videos, because I don't need to be convinced on why dog's going to do well. Dog is the next Bitcoin, but for meme coins. It's going to be the meme coin of all meme coins. And so to me, it would be a disservice to not share this information on a daily basis. And I do this because you guys and girls show up every single day to support me. So the fact that you subscribe to my YouTube channel actually makes a huge difference for me, because it motivates me to make more videos on a daily basis. And that's all you have to do. And also follow me on X. So thank you so much for supporting me. So as you know, I'm already bullish on dog, as you've seen through the 441 videos, actually 442 counting today's video, on why I care about why dog is going to do well. You know it's going to be not only the top 5 meme coins across all chains, but it's also going to be right below Dogecoin. It's going to flip Shiba Inu. And I believe it actually happened in the cycle. When I mean the cycle, I mean this year in 2026. It's only January 23rd, ladies and gentlemen. The month has just begun. And already within this month, you see dog up 36%, and that's really nothing. I've seen dog pump over 400% just within less than 30 to 40 days. That's how crazy dog price moves. So with that said, if you want to see more videos about dog, and please, by supporting the channel, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding dog and moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.